Sky is the limit. Sky is the limit. Sky is the limit. Let's go.
Check 1 2, ladies and gentlemen. We are here on a Thursday. It was a Tuesday. It was a Thursday, and we're back to Thursday. And no, it's not Saturday, where most Sunday people were in worship. I'm starting early. Figured it out. Shout out to everybody that knows how to figure it out. Amen. Touch your neighbor and say, we know how to figure it out. Whatever it is we got to do, we're going to figure it out. And that's what happened last week. Amen, somebody. I'm glad that we figured it out. This week, we are back continuing in the conversation, ministry versus gig, synonymous, not the same, opposite, different perspectives. But we're discussing, and behind me, once again, at the table for the night in the Convos Lounge, none other than Jay Mars, who's Angel's husband. And then there's Darian Brister, who's Enoch's husband. All right. Shout out to my girl Angel, who hit a riff that was just amazing. It was one of those things that catches a producer's ear or somebody that just knows music. But she did it in a service while she was holding the camera in one hand, where them fans at in the other hand, chilling, and just snuck it in there. Real nice. And nobody knew where it was really coming from. Shout out to my sister Enoch, who pointed right out. She said that was none other than Angel. So I'm going to have to listen to the playback and find that one daggone riff that she did, because I loved it. All right, turn it over to the table, to the boys. Here we go. Hang on, because y'all mic's not on. I muted on purpose, so you know. If you can hear you,
that's the 1 2.
You can hear you. I can hear you.
All right, welcome back, family. Welcome back.
Welcome back, y'all.
Between Sundays, tonight is episode 64.
Yeah, we back outside.
Back outside. Again, we're a platform where we offer perspectives of the modern church ministry operation and the many nuances therein from the lens of worship arts and multimedia personnel. Let me take some time to recap our last episode, which I thought was a really great episode. Not only topic, but also the comments that we had come in.
Free late.
Profit pre-late.
Profit pre-late.
But yeah, excellent dialogue last week. We were looking at a comment from a couple episodes ago that said pastors don't ask for membership anymore because musicians are hired. They're not joining. So we had a really, really good dialogue there in that regard. If you are coming in the room, please, if you don't mind, share our live. Tag someone that you may think like to be in on the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who might be joining us, if you are not from the PA, New Jersey, Delaware, tri-state area, let us know where you're from. All right. I'm going to try and pin that in the comments when I get a chance. So tonight, as Pell said, we're still, I guess, wrapping up our discussion that we started a few weeks ago, entitled Ministry versus Gig. Talked about how maybe that we can redirect some of the negative energy that we give, to gig in the church and ministry context. And so we just kind of dialogue not only about what gig means, but we also dialogued about communicating expectations of ministry and not just saying, we want our musicians or our music personnel to be ministry minded, but actually communicating what that means. All right, so tonight we're going to take some time, and it might be the whole episode, such is life if it is, but we're going to look at a comment that came in last week that we did put on the screen. However, we didn't really tackle it too much.
Yeah.
And I really believe that this comment was inspired by something you started talking about, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
But let me read the comment. And it was from our good friend Andre Cartwright. Let me call him Elder Andre Cartwright. So the comment read, live stream now creates a comparison with every other church that's streaming.
Yeah.
And that magnifies the need for perfection. There's one scroll between the local church and Potter's house, as an example. That lessens the threshold of tolerance for imperfection. Now, Jay, I definitely want to start with you, and feel free to pick up where you were when you were talking about the mindset on our last episode. I'm just going to tell you right now, not that I disagree with this comment at all. I take issue with how much truth is in the last sentence. Jay.
I have to say, man, like, that was the part that got me as well. That lessens the threshold of tolerance for imperfection. And everybody's algorithm is different. However, the fact that he used the Potter's house, because that's the truth. You got your local church, and then as soon as you scroll, Jake's is up. And then so, like, if you hear like something that's crackly or whatever in your local church, and then all of a sudden Jake's come up just as clear as day, guess what? And then now you have this needle that's been there that's now being moved up in the local church.
Yeah.
So anything that is wrong, he's right, will be magnified. And now whatever you do is going to be scrutinized. Or whatever you don't do will be scrutinized. And that creates a complex. The mindset of people, and especially that want it right now. Because back in the day, they, pastors had what they called the building fund. You don't hear about that too much no more. We got the building fund, and in 15 years, we plan to put this side of the church into construction for this. 15 years. So, you had some time to pay $10 a week to do what you needed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Lion's mouth tonight.
Okay, so I wasn't trying to start it like that. I'm just saying. At the end of the day, now it's like that needle has been moved up, man. It's like now it's like, okay, what started out as a 15-year plan has now become 6 months.
Mm.
We need to raise $15,000 to get a whole overhaul because we need to sound like that.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You brought up scrutiny.
Mm-hmm.
From who?
Our own selves, man. From you got the leadership that's scrutinizing our own.
Let's put a pin in that.
Yeah.
Let's put a pin in that. If you guys will allow me, let's go back 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Strike that. We probably got to go back 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going back to, let's say, early internet days,
Broadband,
pre-YouTube days,
mm-hmm.
definitely pre-social media days,
mm-hmm.
and absolutely pre-live streaming on social media.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we've mentioned specific churches in our area on this podcast. For Memorial,
mm-hmm.
BM Oakley.
Mm-hmm.
25 years ago, we would not be able to know much about not only the church, those churches, or let's call it the vibe
Mm-hmm.
of those churches,
Right.
unless we went.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
We had if we did not go, we did not get an opportunity or take an opportunity to go, we had no exposure
Right.
to those churches and the vibe that many of us kind of remember and have a little nostalgia about.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't have any exposure to it. Let me go further. If you took the landscape or the texture of however the service was at the church that you grew up at, or the church you were in, serving, attending 25 or more years ago, right? And you wanted to, what can we maybe do better?
Mm-hmm.
Well, where could you get inspiration from? Again, we are early internet days.
Yeah.
We are pre-YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
pre-social media.
Mm-hmm.
So in that time, generally speaking, you got your ideas for maybe enhancing either your ministry, your particular ministry of the church that you served, or, if you were part of, the order of service and structure and that, the music, you generally got your ideas one of two ways. Either one, you had either friends or acquaintances at other churches that you visited,
Mm-hmm.
or you would get exposure to different ways of doing things, different methods by going to like conferences and seminars.
Of course, right.
And then now you get to kind of rub arms with people from different regions
Right.
of the country or even of the state that you're in, or, of the region you're in. Maybe if you're East Coast, you got to rub arms with, for us in the Philly area, we got to rub arms with people from like New York.
Right.
Or the Carolinas, DMV, whatever the case. That was kind of the only avenue
Mm-hmm.
by which, or the main alternative avenue by which you, let's say, got some inspiration of how you could enhance or, bring an addition to, again, either your ministry of the church or, if it wasn't the music ministry or the music ministry or how you guys did service. Right. That was your only avenue. And it just seems like to me, we were less caught up with keeping up with the Joneses
Right.
back then.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about Ford many times.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Ford. But I would render to say, again, 20 to 25 years ago, you didn't have a whole lot of churches trying to replicate Ford Memorial,
Right.
trying to replicate BM Oakley.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's watching, if you're from the Chester area, Delaware, Jersey, drop a church that you would say the vibe and the culture from a music and a worship standpoint is you would put in that same pot of a Ford Memorial or BMO, something that, and the funny part is, for people who may not be familiar with Ford Memorial and BM Oakley, neither church at its heyday were mega churches.
No, they were not, for sure.
Neither church,
they were. Yeah.
at their height, neither would you consider mega churches.
Right.
Neither one. But again, it's just it was always something we revered.
Right.
As just the style. There was something about the style.
Mm-hmm.
But again, key word, we revered it.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't necessarily try to replicate it.
Right. Well, you got to remember as well that back in those days, as we were just saying, we appreciated the time of development.
Mm-hmm.
So when you went to Ford, everybody was, if you were a drummer, you saw Spanky on the drums, or you saw Joe on the drums, and you knew that one day that could be you, or one day you would take, you would take a piece home every single time you went.
Yeah.
There wasn't I got to be like him now or in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
You stayed at those churches for years. You visited BM Oakley. You visited those guys, and you knew one day. So it's like the time and the development was a goal, not just a destination you had to be at right then and there.
Yeah,
because that was the main part. It seems like that's missing. It's like, let's just be honest, how many musicians you see that can play but no foundation?
Yep.
And it just seems like we're in a time where everything is microwaved, and there's no foundation for, okay, so you can play this but you can't play hymns. And so it's like everybody tries to skip, because we're still on the part about the live stream. Everybody tries to skip the developmental stage. Building fund, okay, 15 years. Let's give some time to raise $50,000. We don't need to raise $50,000 with a line of 100 people.
Yeah.
Let's give time to develop so we don't break the people and break the church. There was that time.
Yeah. So if 25 years ago, for the most part, we were not trying to replicate any specific church.
Right.
We just we revered their style, their texture, their vibe, and we use it as inspiration maybe.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 2026. Why are we trying to replicate? What happened? That's my disconnect. What happened that we started trying to replicate? I can't put my finger on it, if I'm honest with you.
Well, if I had to guess, because I don't know, but if I had to guess, I think it's part of the way social media as a whole has tainted us all in some way, shape, or form. Because now you see on social media people living different lifestyles that may be theirs or fake.
Yeah.
Yet you want it. And it makes it seem like it's so easy to get without development. And I keep hitting on that because we understand that development doesn't come overnight.
Mm-mm.
Real development takes time and failures.
Yeah.
And failures take time. You have to be in certain positions to fail in order to know what to do the next time around.
I think I said this sometime last year. I forget what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I made the statement. There's some things in ministry that you may be able to produce with a microwave method.
Mm.
But there are many things in ministry you're only able to produce with a crock pot method.
Yep. And that's how it was with Ford Memorial and BM Oakley. It was a slow burn.
Mm.
You watched for weeks. Pels, you watched for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You didn't play. You watched for weeks,
Yeah.
for months. Some, a couple years before they got their shot.
You had to start with proximity, which we also talked about last year.
Mm-hmm.
Pels, I'm coming your way, but
Uh-oh.
forgive me, I told a lie when I said I can't really pinpoint it. I was trying to be nice, and I failed. I was trying to be nice, and I failed. Okay. Could it be that, and because this is something that I think has, what I'm about to say is something that I think many, let me use the term OG musicians.
Mm.
I've heard many OG musicians, say this to younger musicians in regards to, their development, their journey. But let me say this in regards to the live streaming aspect and in regards to trying to replicate another church. Pels, could it be that we're trying to replicate another church's identity because we are coveting their audience?
Mm. Wow. That's a good one. That's a mic drop.
So you like asking as a question?
Throwing it out to the universe. But your thoughts on this topic, where we are?
I think that so part of what Jay was saying, when you take how it was impossible to totally replicate what somebody else had because it was uniqueness, right?
Yes, sir.
Now you can buy it.
Yeah.
Right? You couldn't buy it before. And this is no offense to a couple of churches that they got great broadcasts, but in a sense, you bought it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not hating. I'm just saying, I'm just making a plain point.
Yeah.
You bought it. And so, like, a Potter's house will never have a tank. A mega church, as long as the church can stay mega, is not going to hurt because it's like, no offense, everybody. I'm an Eagles fan, so to me, Dallas Cowboys suck. But they got money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the players don't stink. Just as an organization altogether against my team or another team, yeah, we're going to clown them and be like, oh, the Cowboys ain't nothing. But there's the worst football team in the NFL right now is still the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because the people that's playing for them, whether they got a ring or not, they got bread.
Yeah.
Right.
The worst basketball team, they got bread.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody on the team, there's somebody on every team that's driving a Bentley on every sports team, period.
Oh, yeah.
When you get back to churches that can buy it, they will always be able to have a sound of some sort
Mm-hmm.
or get on that edge. To Darian's point, that's the difference. Before, you would go to and appreciate and respect, they have that sound over here. They have that. Other churches, you like, man, the drummer's dope, but they musicians, the rest of them, terrible. But you respected the drummer. There was a sense of unity. But once we got to a place, again, it's the old Keith Pelzer adage of sports-like arena ministries, you pastors start becoming Jerry Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And when they start doing that, so not hating on Jerry, but if Jerry was a pastor, right?
Yeah.
Let's call Jerry Jerry equals pastor,
Mhm.
right? The team equals musicians and the fans is the congregation. Well, that's the thing. You can move the musician stuff around. So the pastor doesn't change. And so the mentality of that particular leader is what people don't like.
Mm.
And they'll always chase it. Now, the next problem is all of those, if somebody would have started an NFL team right now, we would say, we got to deal with such and such a defense. So we need an AJ Brown. We automatically start filling in the blank rather than trust our own talent.
Yeah.
We look at what's out there and say, this is what we need to do. Case in point, I've seen Baptist churches fight praise and worship. Man, that was of the devil, or that ain't make no sense.
Mm-hmm.
And now I go to a church and people are 60 years old and that's the praise team. And they trying to sing CCM songs. And I'm like, girl, bye. Bruh, sit down. I'm not hating, but I'm like, it's because of the internet day and age.
Yeah.
What you see, you try to do. Okay, back in the day, you would go to the mall, and the only thing you had what was on the mannequin that you tried to copy,
Mm-hmm.
right? What you seen at a party, you try to copy. Now, before you go to the mall and see it on the mannequin, before you go to a party, you scroll through the internet and the Instagram and TikTok and all, and you say, that's what I need to look like.
Mm.
So this is our problem now. The social media day and age has really disturbed the church, because we believe that's what it sounds like. And I'll leave one last thing on here. That's why false doctrine is so bad right now. It's because if you see enough likes on what somebody said, you think towards it being right, and you have no clue to know what's wrong.
Yeah.
The same thing about training musicians, Jay. It's like, yo, that kid is fire. Everybody says that kid is fire until y'all see him at NAMM and you like, dude didn't know how to play Great Is Thy Faithfulness.
Mm-hmm.
But by that time, nobody's buying it. So now the trend sets, I don't need to learn that. And everything is dummied down.
Yeah.
And now you remember, like, okay, so Philly has a sound.
Mm-hmm.
You know how Philly has that sound? Because back in the day, when you rub elbows with those musicians that were there, you pick up on some things.
Mm-hmm.
And just like we were talking about development, that's where that comes from.
Absolutely.
And just like New York has a sound.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about Butch Hayward,
Oh, yeah.
Melvin Crispell,
Mm-hmm.
and James Hall, a lot of those guys you'll see have the same, even though they don't play the same, their drawbar settings. Vincent Bohannon, a lot of those guys' drawbar settings are the same.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Philadelphia musicians. We have a sound. Chi-Town has a sound. Atlanta has a sound. Well, how do you get that? The only way you get that is by proximity. Who you're around.
Oh,
Nice.
You don't got nobody in Atlanta with the Philly sound that ain't been to Philly. Very rare. I'm not gonna say you don't. Very rare. Most of the time, your proximity is what you're going to sound and be like. Not to say you're trying to replicate them,
Mm-hmm.
but you have that sound.
Yeah.
Your organ sound is going to be the Philly sound, which is why back in the day Philly was loved so much, because they was like, this is Philly sound.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Was it Sweet Rain? Was that
Yeah,
Sweet
Sweet
Records.
Rain.
That was
they called it
Bishop
the Philly
Andy
sound?
Ford.
Yeah, that the Philly sound. Philly had a sound, and we still got the sound.
So I just asked the question before Pels went. I said, is it that we are coveting another church's audience?
Mm.
Let me ask a different question.
No, Darren, you know what? So
Come on.
I'll satisfy that. The reason why I knew I kind of didn't pop right on that, I like how you addressed that, coveting another church's audience. You know what? I can agree with you if that's a position, because you can, right?
Mhm.
Before you couldn't, because that audience you couldn't walk in a Ford and grab that audience.
Mm.
Yeah.
right? Because that was in that house. And you didn't even want to take that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you showed your uniqueness, people saw your uniqueness. You're right. Now, I think people do covet it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it depends on, and if this is where you going, it's gotten beyond just a good sound. Because and watch this here. Because you can buy it in most cases, it don't necessarily mean that it's successful.
Right.
Right? You just bought it and people like, that's where the bag is at. Or it's like they got money, but you're not holding them on the preaching. You're not holding them on the whole culture. And again, but what it does do is satisfies the customer. So now what do we have? We have anointed Amazon customers, meaning I don't go to the market. I don't go to Home Depot. I go to Amazon and get it off the app.
Yeah.
And then you have to have good production because you have to present so that you minister or you satisfy the customer through the phone or the computer.
Right.
Yeah. And just for clarity, when I say covet another church's audience, I'm not necessarily talking about their particular audience.
Okay.
But I'm referencing they're coveting that they have an audience.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
And so they're chasing like audience size.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
That's really what I'm, my point there. Let me shout out some watches and I'll ask my next question. Julian Brissett in the building, Niece Rose, Josh Gilmore, Pastor Pete Morgan, Dan Corsi, Aunt Schuler, 1 Corinthians Nicole. I think that's it for now. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Here's my next question. My next question is, could it be, again, this is around the why does it seem like you have churches trying to replicate other churches, particularly when it comes to live stream. Right? So my next question is it that the leaders of our churches do not or have not established their own DNA?
That's it right there. You might
Right,
well
I
finish
think,
the whole sermon
I
right
think
there.
that's it. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Let me dig deeper, okay? If you don't know, I'm keyboard organist. Been playing now 31 years. Melvin Crispell II, rest in paradise. Stephen Ford, Troy Chambers, Jamar Jones, Jason Tyson, Mike Burrell, Glenn Gibson, just to name a few of the musicians' gospel that I have listened to through my journey and been inspired by. Again, just to name a few. But at no point did I say to myself, I need to play exactly like one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
nice.
At no point.
Yep.
That's it's my mission to be able to play exactly like one of them.
Exactly.
Now, those of you who have heard me play, and particularly if you're familiar with a lot of the names that I mentioned, then you can hear the influence.
Right.
Particularly when it comes to Melvin Crispell. That he's my earliest influence. Never knew him, but when I kind of started coming into my own, I was playing for a community choir, and their director loved James Hall songs.
Yep.
So that glued me to everything James Hall.
Yep.
It glued me to everything James Hall. So again, you'll hear that influence. But to what you just mentioned 2 minutes ago, Uncle Mel was a New York guy.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Philly.
Yep.
I don't have the New York sound.
Mm-hmm.
You just hear hints of Melvin Crispell
Yep.
in my sound.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Philly guy.
Yep. Yeah. At the end of the day.
And I love the New York sound, but again, I don't desire, okay, I gotta be able to play the New York sound front and back.
Mhm.
That's not my desire.
Yeah. And the thing is, you're playing where you're from at when you play is like an accent.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in B-more, they could tell I wasn't from there.
Yeah.
The drawbar settings was different. The
Mhm.
sound is different. Even though it's 45 minutes from where I live, the sound is different. When B-more comes up here, I love him to life. My man, James Ash.
Mm-hmm.
Sound is crazy.
Crazy.
Joe Pryor.
Mm-hmm.
All them guys, they got a B-more sound.
Absolutely.
It's a different type of style.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you can play the same song,
Mm-hmm.
the way they play it is different than Philly.
It's different. Daryl Woodson,
Mhm.
Justin Savage.
Yeah. Those guys, even Justin at the time living in Texas, bought the B-more sound there.
Absolutely.
He ain't changed to a Texas sound.
Mm-hmm.
You are who you are. It's like a fingerprint.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Once you get that fingerprint on you, it's there. And
Mhm.
even though you'll have inspiration from others, your fingerprint says, this is where I'm from.
Hey,
Come on,
hey,
Pels.
can I interject? So I watched that we went down this organ path that was wonderful, right? And this is good. This is what I love about this, what y'all do here. Felix, you're gonna fill me on this. As y'all started talking about, and you brought up Melvin and different people, all that is kind of centered at the Hammond, right?
Majority of it,
the
I would say,
majority of it,
yes.
right? We can add in piano too, but you know
Mhm.
what that makes me think about when we talk about ministry and gig, right?
Mm.
Not beating at it, but
Yeah, come on.
we seen the shift go to it because to me, older school church music, the music talked more,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
when you say settings and draw bars, there's a actual sound that's
Yeah.
interpreted to a lyrical and a verbiage understanding.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the Nords people now and the strings and the CCM
Warfare
stuff,
music.
it just kind of seems like it doesn't talk as much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I think it's beautiful. I think the organized songs and the worship songs now are great, but I'm realizing they don't talk as much as the older sound used to have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I remember Andy Ford would say, Jamar do this or Troy do that. And it was, and everybody like, And it wasn't like, cause it's, blah, 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 blah. It was actually orchestrated to have a conversation.
Yeah.
That's why when people got mad with the hoop, I was just like, I didn't jump on the bandwagon. I was like, yeah, cause some Negroes just hollering just to holler and they ain't say nothing. I never forget, there's a pastor in Philly told a younger pastor, I would keep him nameless, but Darian knows who the pastor is.
Mhm.
They said, how'd I do, Pastor so-and-so? And they was like, you ain't said nothing. He
Yep.
said, you hooped the horn off a billy goat, but you ain't say
Said
nothing.
nothing.
And I was like, God dang. And but the thing is, it was a talk. So
Mhm.
it's almost like the talking voice left the music corner. Right, and it's performance driven, where it's like,
That's good.
yeah,
Pels.
it's a lot of talented people, but I'm like,
Yeah.
where's the talk?
Yeah.
So the talk is kind of going now. It's
Yes,
like
sir.
that's why when we in church, it's almost like we don't feel much because the musician, to me, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not just limiting it to the organ. I'm talking guitar players,
Yeah.
bass, and everything, whatever. But even down to the tambourines, there was a culture where the instruments were a conversation in the congregation.
Absolutely.
Now, and I'm not disrespecting nobody out here, it just seems like the instruments aren't a part of the conversation. It's a big part of the feel, but it's not really a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't say that in general. I'm saying that in general, and I'm not picking again. I'm just throwing it out there, and maybe some of y'all can agree. That's why we feel good if there's a Hammond in the building.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
You ever go to preach? Preachers out there, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
You go to preach and there's no Hammond or no modified Nord or something like that.
Yeah.
You thinking in your head, how do we get through this? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just wanted to add that 2 cents in there on that.
Yeah. But Jay,
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
your way,
Yeah.
is it that the leaders of the church, and I'm not just talking about the pastor, I'm really talking more about the music leaders.
Mm.
Is it that our leaders have not established their own DNA?
Mm.
They don't know who they are.
Jay, your thoughts?
Yeah, man. So I was listening to what Pell said, man, and I remember growing up listening to Hezekiah Walker and Milton Brunson. You don't talk about those guys too much no more. And when you heard them, whether or not they were from the city of Philadelphia, which they wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
but you understood musically the conversation.
Yeah.
The reason, and I'm going off a little bit here, but the reason why we loved John Peters
Mm-hmm.
so much is because at the time, I think it was 1993, when that first James, I might be wrong, when that first James Hall, God is in Control, and then the first ones.
Yeah, John was a little later, but I
Okay.
get your point. John, I
Yes.
think John came on,
Was that 96? Was that?
I don't remember what year, but I think John came on the album with God Wants a Yes.
Okay.
I think that was John Peters' first album.
So when
I
you
think.
hear that album, it's a different conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't pin it to New York.
Mm-hmm.
I can't pin it to Philly. I can't pin it to the Baltimore. So it's like it's a different.
Yeah.
And what happened was he made his own conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the time you didn't put that type of situation into gospel.
No, you didn't.
You didn't add all those augmented and diminished chords
No.
into something.
To drop this song in as an example, but keep going.
Mhm.
The blood.
Exactly.
Particularly when you really listen to that intro.
Right. I
But
remember playing when my first James Hall song I had to sit down with was Caught Up.
Oh, yeah.
That intro.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing Milton Brunson and Hezekiah Walker. What is this?
Yeah.
Ho. What did he just do there?
Yep.
Because there were chords that I really never even thought about.
Mm-hmm.
So now it takes, as we're going through identities.
Yeah.
So now I'm like in an identity crisis.
Yeah.
Because I know where I'm from, and the shoulders I rub elbows with never really played like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
So now I'm listening to him. Now, mind you, I'm not trying to steal
Mhm.
his identity,
No.
but I'm trying to listen and learn
And digest.
and digest
Yeah.
the foundation of why
Yeah.
he did that.
Absolutely.
So if I ever need to go to this particular place musically,
Yeah.
I can.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
It's not to steal, it's to learn
Mm-hmm.
and digest why he did what he did.
Yeah.
And so when you say, okay, have we lost our DNA, or is it that we don't have the DNA like it used to be?
Mhm.
I have to say, man, we have lost a lot of DNA.
Yeah, because if we have our own DNA, then we have no desire to try and replicate someone else's DNA.
But that's because music has always been like, okay, so it's always been this way, but the internet sped everything up.
Hmm.
Yes, sir.
and the reason why I say it's always been this way, okay, Oscar Peterson been killing for years.
Oh yeah, decades.
But guess what? Art Tatum was too.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, when you heard, the Oscar who's listening to Art Tatum is like, man, that is
and even after Oscar, you had Herbie.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they never tried to be like each other because they all had their own DNA, and the only way you heard them was through the record.
There you go.
Even if you didn't meet them,
mm-hmm.
but you had something to take from it.
Yeah.
Not to be exactly like them,
mm-hmm.
but to learn from them.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, well, you got all these folks now the internet's here. Now you can watch a video
mm-hmm.
and you can mimic how he did it. There's no more learning process because for $59.99,
wow,
I got a music app that'll just kind of just show you right where he went.
Yeah.
It takes all the learning out of it. How long did you have to sit up there and rewind the tape? Play. Rewind the tape. Play. What did he do right there? There wasn't no slow mode. You just had to sit there and keep rewinding the tape until you got it.
Yeah, I believe in our day, in that day that you just brought about, let's just say, for example, at your church, wherever you played, let's just say, for example, during the service, you had to play a total of, let's say, roughly 4 to 5 songs.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say, for example. Again, because of the resources we had at that time,
mm-hmm.
learning the music for your Sunday was a week-long process.
Yes, that's what That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
If you didn't know the Lord, look.
Oh yeah, I know that.
If you didn't know when the lady said, "Cause the Lord is my shepherd,"
mm-hmm.
that song
Sing
that
some
was real
songs.
popular at one time. If you didn't know that, there wasn't no rushing to the phone to try to listen to it real quick.
Right.
What was the other one that was real big? Order My Steps.
Exactly. There wasn't no. Let me just pick up the phone and put it in my in-ears. It wasn't that. Either you practiced or you did not.
But listen, doesn't that show how much meaning it doesn't have? Like when I play for people now, listen, y'all, I'm first to say, and I'm not a lazy learner. It just got to make sense for me, right?
Yeah.
I'll be looking at the playlist, and some of these are great songs. The thing that irks me, y'all, I'm going to just say it because we just keep it 100%.
Yes, sir. Keep
It'd
it
be a
up.
song I've learned. I'm like, oh, this is dope. And it'll be like Delaney or somebody. And then you look where they got the song from. And then you looking at it and it's like the original was by like Billy Joe somebody. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Or a little Sally Lou with acoustic guitar. And I'm like, I'm not hating there. It's not about color and stuff. But I'm like, the etymology of this ain't coming from somebody that looked like me that got real struggle. That's not picking.
That was a big word.
Okay,
was just used.
It ain't. So at the end of the day, I'm like, I like how we Negroized it, right? I'm feeling that, but I'm like, who's creating it now? The next problem is we kind of shun the creators, right? The people who are doing it, and in some cases, it's like Felix is saying, where's the Batman and Robin, pastor musician type thing? Like, y'all gonna laugh at me when I say this. If you are in a predominantly black church, and I'm fine saying the word black church, it can have any color in there, but I'm just saying, y'all know what I mean when I say that. There's a relationship between the musician and the preacher, because when the preacher is teaching or preaching, the only person that can share that space in most cases is a key musician, which hopefully has a ministry mindset and connection.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how great they play. You want to accompany. Like, the reason why Troy Chambers will back you up so well, even though he can play better than you, is because he's a preacher and a pastor. So he's listening to the words. Both of these guys right here, I know for one, Jay, I know Jay, but I know one thing, Darian will just get triggered if you saying something that ain't making no sense. He'll back you up, but he's still like, with a dope core, he'd be like, I don't know what this fool talking about. All right, so, it's a difference when somebody listening because they see where to land the plane. They get the feel of where you're going. And the thing about this is, somewhere we lost the focus on what was the dopeness for. Like, what's the goal of it? If not, we are accelerated, as Jay said, and push right into competitive and, as Keith Pelzer keeps saying, satisfy the customer mode.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
Satisfy the customer mode. Do y'all know 90% of the time when people would say, hey, the choir should sing this and the choir should sing that, it's the people that don't put no money in the plate. They don't show up to no Bible study, no Sunday school. They ain't praying. They walk out during the sermon, but they always want what they want. The people that's really tapped in, they're tapped into whatever comes because there was a DNA. There was a identity of that church. And a lot of this ain't just blaming the churches and what they covet. Like Darren was saying, it's radio change. Radio, like Mary Mason, Louise Williams, and Gospel Highway 11 is not our central go-to point to hear stuff. It's all over the place. And where it's all over the place? We're looking at it a performance perspective first. And if we call it ministry, it's what we got from the concert.
Yeah.
That we paid tickets for, that everybody's there for the popularity and call it ministry. That's a problem.
Big problem.
Even when you had you had what's the John P. Key and all, nobody was trying to be John P. Key technically.
Right.
And if they was, it was kind of corny. Nobody was trying to be Hezekiah Walker. You were influenced by him. But that's why Philly, DC, Baltimore, when you would go to them Tri-City concerts, and it was kind of like a competition, but it wasn't, because we were listening to the craft. We were listening to how do y'all minister. And we were loving it. Philly musicians love those musicians. Those musicians love a pure Philly sound, but it was still ministry. But once it got to this internet and blow up stage, what's the pull for local anymore? Like, do we really run to New York? Do Philly people really go to New York to hear a New York choir experience?
No, not because of the digital age. They don't got to run there.
Right. So we don't have a join together and see this. The authenticity of that is kind of gone. So what do? We're at a swipe ministry right now.
Jay, I'm coming back your way because I got one more question to ask. Let me shout out a few watchers I just saw come in. Dave Bell and Benji Polk. Now, Benji, believe it or not, Reach Gospel Radio is FM in Philly.
Yes, it is. Yep.
I think the dial is 107.9. I think. But they are FM. It's just certain areas don't get it as good.
I should know that, but I don't.
But yeah, so that is the Philly Gospel Radio station. But like I said, depending on what area in Philly, you might get more static than you actually get, songs and stuff. But here is my last question. Again, Pels, if you can throw that comment back up. I'm going to reread it. I'm going to ask my last question. So, live stream now creates a comparison with every other church that's streaming, and that magnifies the need for perfection. There's one scroll between the local church and, for example, Potter's House that lessens the threshold of tolerance for imperfection. First question I ask is, the central question, let me start there, is why does it seem like we're trying to duplicate other churches when it relates to the live stream? And so that's my central question, and I asked 3 sub-questions. Could it be, the first one was, could it be that we are coveting other churches' audience in terms of the size of their audience? In essence, meaning that, okay, if we do exactly what they do, we'll get a similar size audience.
Right.
That was my first sub-question. Second sub-question was, is it that our leaders of our churches, pastors, yes, but mainly music leaders? Is it that we have not established our own DNA? Here's my final question tonight. Again, the central question is, why does it seem like we're trying to replicate other churches when it comes to live stream? Last question, Jay, is, do we have some dysfunction when it comes to our purpose for live streaming? Before you go, a few months back, we had Jennifer Benton on. She works in, she's a marketing strategist, right? And she shared with us, from her perspective, who is the target audience when the church is live streaming. And so some of the things she mentioned was obviously, you're sick and shut in. Also, she mentioned your college students. She mentioned members who are deployed. That was the first things that she mentioned. Then she mentioned the concept of digital evangelism. But I noticed that she didn't start with digital evangelism.
Right.
I noticed she started with keeping those members of the church or extended family of the church that could not physically be there, not just because they wanted to stay home,
right,
because they couldn't be there, keeping them connected to not only the church but the worship experience. She started there.
Right.
Then she mentioned digital evangelism. And again, I asked this question because, okay, are we trying to put the cart before the horse? Are we trying to mimic other people's live stream first to try and reach an audience that we don't know and have no connection to? And I would submit this, and I'm not a marketing strategist at all, but I would submit this. I would submit that your Sunday morning live stream, or whatever day your worship service is, that live stream should not be your primary tool to reach those who are lost or not a part of your church. No, you gotta do that during the week.
Right.
That can be an avenue, but it seems to me like many are trying to use that as the primary tool. Hence why they covered the audience. They're like, if we do it the way non-benevolent church does it,
right,
if we do it the way they do it, because they getting 1,500 people watching each week. So if we do it exactly that way, then we gonna reach our own 1,500. Dysfunction of the purpose. Because and then I'm throwing it to you, your thoughts, because if we start with the right priorities, as she mentioned, sick and shut in, your college students, your members who may be deployed, or something adjacent.
Right.
If we start with that, then I don't think we have the identity issue. And we're not trying to mimic what another church does. We are just merely trying to take what we do and maximize it. That's what we're trying to do. We're okay with the equipment that we have. Let's try and give the best online experience we can with the equipment and the personnel that we have, because we don't have non-benevolent churches' equipment, and we don't have their personnel.
Exactly.
So why would we chase trying to do exactly what they do just because of what we perceive is the results? Jay.
You know, I think one of the main reasons why, to answer your question, do I think it's tainted? Yes. I think it's tainted because it seems, I don't want to try to say this is the case, but because people have different intention. But it would seem like there's so many that are trying to stay relevant with streaming.
That's good.
Because at the end of the day, we've all heard that a lot of times streaming is doing more harm and damage because you have people that won't come to the sanctuary simply because you can now be at Bedside Baptist.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when people were made a choice to come to the church because that's the only way you were able to get the full experience.
Yes, sir.
Of what God was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you feel him through the live stream? Yeah, you can. But it's nothing like being in the same building.
Absolutely.
While God is moving, there's certain situations and atmospheres that are only going to happen, and you're only going to feel them, and it's only going to manifest in your life. I truly believe there's certain blessings that are spoken over those that are there that are only going to be for those that are there.
Yeah.
So trying to stay relevant simply because you want to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
The Joneses over here got their live stream going. So we going to keep our lives, even though we only got 3 watchers.
Yeah. We
got 1,500 people in the service, and we only got 3 watchers. Well, who were the 3 watchers? Are they deployed? Nah. Are they in the hospital? Nah, they're not. They're just 2 choir members that just didn't feel like.
Yeah, they just didn't make it.
So if that's an every Sunday type thing, why keep it going on? Why, like, okay, think about it like this. I'm gonna put this in perspective. 25 years ago, it was unheard of to pay any musician $500.
Oh yeah.
It was really
in the general sense.
In the general, yes. It was really unheard of for you to pay a videographer.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely unheard of.
What?
Yeah.
How much to take pictures?
Mm-hmm.
It was unheard of until somebody saw or talked to somebody else and said, "Hey, your ministry can go to the next level if you put $80,000 on a table for a good videographer." Okay, so you got a videographer. Now you need somebody to run your audio. What? Deacon Baxter? Nah, Deacon Baxter ain't gonna do it. So guess what? You need about a good $80,000 for somebody to run your audio. Now you're $160,000 in. Well, you got the audio and you got the videographer, but what about your live stream? You need a separate room for that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? What? Oh,
and then after that, hey, what's gonna really make the live stream pop is you have a video wall as a backdrop.
That LCD
that's
screen.
That's it right there.
You see how they got their LCD screen up there?
That's the
they can
icing
show
on the
stars
cake.
and comets. You see how the moon rises on their John in the morning? You just got the cross in the back. Who wants to watch that?
Man.
We want to see the LCD screen light up. But it just shows, like you said, that we just running after and the more we run after something that's not Christ, we become non-authentic. I know that's not a word.
No. It's a word today.
Right, it's a word today. But it becomes disingenuous in our pursuit, as you say.
Yep.
The pursuit of souls start losing its target.
Yeah.
And it starts to become more about keeping up, staying relevant, especially after COVID. When COVID happened, well, we don't have nobody coming to church because everybody's staying home, so you better get on the live stream. Well, now we got to buy all this stuff in a matter of months.
In a matter of months.
You know what's crazy, Jay? And some of y'all, some people is still watching.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to take up for pastors real
Yes,
quick
sir.
too. And saying this is where it helps musicians. Like, this is like a musician podcast, but this is where it helps musicians as well. I think pastors are struggling because we're at a point now that truth is not really helping, right? So we could take all of the denominations and throw them into one pot for a second and just say nobody's allowed to disagree, and then nobody's going to be on anything that we agree or disagree on other than Jesus Christ and him crucified, right? And risen again. Let's stop there. We're not going to go Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, Jesus' name only, gifted tongues, all. We're not doing all that. We are on right now. If the world was about to end, what's the biggest message that everybody needs to hear, or what's the check? Not do you have food and water. Water ain't gonna matter after tomorrow. If we were told this is the last day, food and water don't matter.
Nope.
Do you have enough money for tomorrow? Is your electric going to be on? None of that matters. What matters is I got asked to do a funeral in a couple of days or something. I don't even know the person, right? But you know what it is? They don't need me to preach a sermon to, everybody. Ooh, that was high. It's to comfort souls on something we can't control now.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the way, the mission of the church got lost. Now, Julian, I love what you said there, but this is my pet peeve. Nothing on what you said, but the thing that used to get me is, oh, what is y'all doing in the community? What community? Right? I'm going somewhere with this. Back in the day, everybody used to live around the corner from the church. I went to Catholic school. I've seen people and I'm like, yo, where you been at? Well, I'm in another parish now. And what? No, I like Father so-and-so at Cardinal Doherty. Well, if you move to Montgomeryville, you belong to that parish.
Right.
So everything that church was doing was in that parish. The next thing about internet is, like Felix said, you talk to somebody that, oh, my church is in Detroit. Here's the problem with internet. When you are a member of an internet church, the question now becomes, how are you serving? Right. So you've proven my point that you are a customer and not technically an actual member, a partaker, because it's what you get out of it. Right. You can get out of that church from the internet and from your app, but you can't put much into it other than your money.
Correct.
That's it.
Okay. You can argue me and say, shout out to a couple people. You can do remote work, but the remote work you do is, okay, I do remote online stuff. You can do remote mixing or something like that for all I know. But you know what you're doing? You're doing work to satisfy the customer. Because if you don't live in that city, you ain't delivering the mail. You're not delivering the plates. You're not helping people. And so then we have to now stack the deck. We need better music because people ain't watching. If people watching, that means we get more money. If we get more money, then we got this whole other convoluted thing on, does pastor get a Bentley now? Or do the music department say, hey, we need a raise over here? Or do now we recognize the security standing out in the cold and you can at least buy them some heaters or something? Like, it's all over the place here. And you know what I'm saying is, we've lost the main message. So my wrap up for music is we have to recalibrate how is our music ministry doing work and affecting the message that's conveyed. So it makes me think about old songs. We have come to praise and magnify the Lord for all he's done, for the victories. Having you there made the difference. Also, songs like Think on These Things is teaching you Philippians. It's helping you to know some stuff about the word of God. So the beauty in the ministry and the talent was coming from talking through your talent. And when you talk to your talent, when you turn the organ off, you still have a conversation, not just give me my check and go. So when churches have gotten that far away from it, pastors are running out. I mean, we only got 66 books to preach from. and most of them only preach from 10.
Mm-hmm.
So you're done. And then once the song get old, the customer says, I'm tired of that song. I'm going to tell y'all something. There's a lot of songs I'm still not tired of. You know why? Because the ministry that they present never gets old with me. That is the struggle.
So we're out of time, but I'm going back to the beginning of the comment. I'm going back to the first phrase. Live stream now creates a comparison. I would submit, Jay, that if our purpose is not tainted and doesn't have dysfunction, and we are prioritizing what should be the main target of the live stream. Again, sick and shut in,
Yep.
college students away, school, those who are deployed, military, or similar reason. If that is our main target, not only, but main target for our live stream, no comparison is needed because they are not, generally speaking, they are not or shouldn't be. But let me go, I'll go as far to say they are not scrolling.
Yeah.
They want to be connected to their church.
Right.
So in general, they're not scrolling. They are on whatever your platform is, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. They're on there to stay connected to the church, not looking for the best online church service.
Right.
Ooh.
Right.
Ooh.
Right.
So again, that in that instance, there is no comparison that would take place. But if your main target is the wild, let me use it that way.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
sir.
If your main target is the wild, then yeah, all of this applies. Because the wild, they're comparing.
Yep.
They're shopping. Because they're a customer. They're shopping. So if the slightest thing, just goes awry, if the lighting ain't great, the balance of lighting ain't great, and it's like, man, the video quality is kind of average. Scroll.
Yep.
But I would submit that's the reason why they should not be the main target.
Yeah.
That's why they shouldn't be the main target.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I want to challenge anyone that may hear this, may see this, may have seen it, may be listening. And you're a leader in your church, whether that's pastor, whether you're on ministerial staff, executive staff, church staff, if you're in the, let's say, the media department or the worship and arts department or music department, however that shapes out at your church. I would take some time, particularly if you're a church that live stream, take some time to reevaluate your purpose when it comes to live streaming. Reevaluate your purpose. And again, this is not saying that, you shouldn't want to have a high quality live stream. I'm not making that case at all. That I am saying that reevaluate things, particularly as it pertains to the equipment and the personnel that you have. And the goal should just be getting the best out of what you have. Not comparing it to what anybody else does. You can use what someone else does as inspiration. You can use. But the minute, Pels, the minute you get that call, hey Pels, man, I just, I love how the look you got in your studio, man. Is any way you can help me get that at my church?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You heard that before, Pels?
Mm-hmm.
You got that call before, man?
Oh yeah.
Reevaluate your purpose.
Wow.
Live stream. Any last words, Jay?
Yeah, man. I mean, from everything I heard, man, I'm finding it very hard to differentiate most live streams on Sunday from Netflix. Personally,
See, we proving the Drewski point though.
Yep.
yeah, I'm no, for real. Like, it's like from what I've heard all night, it's like, you know, and knowing the live streams that, you know, we've seen, where you can pretty much, like Netflix, you can scroll, especially on Sunday. You can scroll and scroll, and you'll go from church to church to church. And the main thing about Netflix and the live stream, Netflix promotes you to sit there in your PJs with some popcorn.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
And now our live streams does too. It promotes that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, as D said, you know, at the end of the day, what it was built for is not really what it's being used for. So it's like now it's no different than Amazon Prime Video or Netflix or Tubi, because, you know, no commercial breaks.
Yeah.
You got full church service, band and all, full church service in your PJs.
Yeah.
And there's something about when you get up and get dressed, even if you're not going to church, there's something about when you get up and get dressed, even if you sit down or if you're worshiping in your house, it's going to make you at least worship some kind of way, because now you done got dressed for it. Now you done put on something, and you done your mind subliminally gets prepared to do something now that you done got dressed up. But if you're sitting there in your PJs and they tell you, you know, lift your hands and praise the Lord, or they start dancing, more likely, not to say it hasn't happened, more likely you're not going to be dancing in your house.
Yeah.
More likely. You're going to be sitting there watching it.
Yeah.
We've all done it.
I agree.
So that's why I said there's certain atmospheres that you're not going to get and feel unless you're in the building. It's hard to feel that atmosphere outside.
Absolutely.
While you're watching it. So that's all I gotta say.
Pels, you got the last word?
Nah, so you know what's funny? So you said, I like where Jay's going, because again, and this goes to what Darian is saying. So unless you're there, you're not going to feel it. So what is the congregating for at this point? Because here's what I would argue. That congregations, no matter where it's at, that is the community. Right? And this is the key pose. I'm gonna stand on this for a second. Somebody actually indoctrinated our minds to get mixed up and think community was, if your church is at Broad and Erie, your community is, you know, over to 12th Street, over to 20th Street, and up here and there. You know, we kind of missed the go ye therefore into all the world, and kind of like the world is community. Like, find me the scripture that says the church at Philippi, their community was the adjacent towns and whatever. It was just the church at Philippi.
Yeah.
Basically, you gave the church in Pennsylvania, because that's recognized as a state. Churches are on corners. So you have Church of Nicetown, Church of North Philly, Church of West Philly. But the problem is you got 50,000 churches in West Philly. So that the Church of Christ has blanketed the entire community of West Philly. And if people that live in West Philly, for example, congregate on 52nd Street, 53rd, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there shall I be in the midst, blah, blah, blah. All right, all of that stuff, right? We think that if somebody opens a church at Broad and Cheltenham Avenue, that their community doesn't go further than a certain distance.
Right.
But we've graduated to the point where Resources come from everywhere. Cars have evolved. People moved out of neighborhoods, but they're connected with people. And I would stand to say that if you open up 4 walls and you allow people to come in, look around in the pew, that's the community.
Yeah.
Y'all can fight me on it, because what happens is, this is where the pulpit pimps have a problem at. We're asking for the $50 to $120 line, but nobody's identifying that is about 20 people came in here broke.
Yep.
They're broke. They're trying to figure out how they paying their rent. They trying to figure this, that, and the third. And then you bragging because we're helping somebody out in Africa. We're helping somebody out overseas mission. Somebody don't know how they going to eat. Somebody came to church and was too ashamed to say, my electric about to get cut off. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's like, where is the actual community? Like, you don't, when it's somebody shot and killed in West Oak Lane, we don't look at Carlton Aiken and Alan Waller and Bethel and say, y'all ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
The doors are open more than Sunday. Mm-hmm. People are in these buildings and stuff. But the thing is, are we convicting people by the word, not by our performance?
Yes, sir. Because
performance is everywhere. And then once people had enough church, they're going to the Dell to hear their favorite R&B artists.
Yeah.
And the musicians are the same musicians
Oh boy.
that play at your church.
Same.
The background singers is the same people.
Yep.
Sing on the praise team at your church.
Stop, fellas. The sound man.
My Lord.
The same one that's in the balcony at the church down the street.
Oh, yeah.
Where's the community?
We out of town. We out of time today. Did see Rakeem come in the building, as well as Nick Hill. Again, thank you all for tuning in.
Thank y'all.
Next week,
we
back on Thursday. Brand new series, guys.
Yep.
Brand new series next week. Church membership and blurred lines.
We're gonna play blurred lines.
That's gonna be good. That's gonna be good.
Hey.
Church membership and blurred lines. And man, we probably gonna be here till Resurrection Sunday.
Oh my Lord.
If not longer.
Yep. Oh yes.
I remember when.
Again, thank you all for tuning in. I'm your co-host D. Brister.
I'm Jay Morris.
We out. Reverend Juice.
I called on the Lord and found an answer. Oh, yes.
Lay back home, hit me with something like, yeah. No. Hey baby, I'm about to be real transparent with you. I've been waiting by this door, just to have a little conversation with you.